Rain and it's pouring, the old man is snoring. It's a rainy day out here in the farm. Did you ever, as a kid, you played in mud puddles, in the bathtub you played with your rubber ducky, but did you ever stop and wonder, where's all that water go? We would be like knee high if it just kind of stayed on the surface. Well, I've learned a little bit about water. What happens, I get kind of excited about rain because I learned about swales. But before we talk about swales, this water, what it does when it rains gentle-like, the water seeps into the ground. And then it seeps a little deeper and deeper, and it recharges the aquifer. The underground water table rises. Springs flow a little faster. And some of this water, as it rains harder and harder, the water can't soak in, so it runs on the surface. And as it runs on the surface, it picks up dirt, and the water becomes muddy. So when you see muddy water, you know you got dirty water. Where you got dirty water, you probably have polluted water, because it runs on the surface picking up dirt. If it's running on the road, it's picking up gasoline, oil, somebody's McNuggets going down through, cow poopy that's going through the, and nature, when it goes down through these things like leaves, and it's not bad, but it picks up these bad things and gets into your drinking water, or it picks up sprays that the farmer puts on the field, and then that's in your drinking water. So if it rains hard on a woods, what happens is not much. There's not much runoff because there's all these little weeds and trees, and they help the water absorb. Now if you get a hard surface like gravel or macadam, that shoots right off. It can't soak in very good, and you get more water, you get more runoff. And have you ever seen, you go past somebody's driveway, it's gravel, and it's all like little trench and potholes and dugout gullies? That's because if it's downhill, the water's going downhill, and it creates like a little stream in the driveway and rips it out and takes dirt. The same thing happens in the stream, and I want to show you a little of that today. I learned from this Australian guy on YouTube about swales, and I constructed swales to slow the water down where it's going too fast and keep it on the farm and let plants enjoy it rather than letting it get into the creek and pollute it. Let me show you. Here you can see just a bit of my gravel driveway, and it's kind of a steady rain right now. It's not running off super hard, but you have some runoff, and you can just see this water flowing down the hill, down this way, and as it gets lower in the hill you get more water. And then what a swale does, I don't know if you can see right here, but I made a diagonal line across the lane, and it forces water off to the side here, and you can see the water coming down the hill, flowing into this here little area. You can see all the water there, and under this black pipe there's a bigger pipe, and that water flows down toward this raspberry patch where we're trying to water the patch. Take you down here and show you. Following the water, it's coming from the lane, and it's being directed by a series of trenches down through here. It's all overgrown with weeds. You just have to believe me that there's water flowing down through here. And then you're going to be able to see it where I have it pool. I have it come to a pool spot here, and right here should be, here's a nice puddle of water. It's probably 2-3 feet deep, and that's where all that water goes to. Helps water this tree and water some of these here plants. Then the water from this pool flows down along here and to another pool. You can just see a little bit of the pool here, right? And below this pool we have some berry bushes, and it helps be watering these bushes. This is a honeyberry. It's like a little blueberry type thing. Another
honeyberry. This whole row be honeyberry. Back here behind me we have some elderberry. They don't taste so great, but they're medicinal. And there's another elderberry. Let me get in close on them. And you can see all the berries here. These will get like a blackish blue color eventually. And what this water is doing is just soaking, coming down the hill through these swales and watering the crops that I got. There'll be a gooseberry plant, a currant plant, and I got a couple of those. We go further down the hill. The swales are helping the water. You know what vegetable this is? Don't look like the vegetable you see in the grocery store, does it? But this be what asparagus looks like when it goes tall. Now I want to show you the effects of erosion and runoff where it wasn't slowed down, where the water wasn't slowed down. Now here you see all this exposed dirt. This is where the cattle would come down to drink in the creek, and they would turn this all up and destroy the grass, and then the water would get to moving fast and there'd be a lot of it and create these little gullies that you see here. These would have been full with a lot of water just a minutes ago. The rain slowed a little bit, but what happens, you see this little tricklet of water here. You can get a better view up that way. But this trickle of water, oh hey, look at here. We got a worm. A worm, he's booking it to somewhere, I don't know where. But you can see that trickle of water beside him. You know where that water's going? That'd be going to the big creek. And you know what, it's nice and muddy, which ain't really very good. And you can see this big creek. You can just see how this is not exactly like blue like the sky. This is more like brown, like chocolate milk. And that's because of all this runoff stuff that's be happening. All these surfaces that are unnatural and do not have vegetation on them. So kind of a, golly, it be raining cats and dogs today. Now here's a different section of the lane. You can see this water on the right side. It's kind of ripping a little bit of a gully here. I should probably put another swale up there to divert the water. But as it runs down, you can see it collects more and more. And it gets to this, and well, hey, you see the water moving off the lane. Did it do that by accident? Nope. I had to dig a little trench there, or a swale, to divert the water off to the side. You can see this water going into this little pool of water. Now this is doing two things. This is watering these little plants, and they're like, oh, thank you, lots of good water. And the other thing it be doing is, look at the downside of this swale. You can see there's no trench, no gully, nothing ripped up. So by diverting this water, we improve the water quality. I want you to try to think of some other surfaces that create large volumes of runoff that the landscape has trouble absorbing. We'll take this here big shed roof. Now yesterday the rain was just coming down, and right up here in the spouting it was partially clogged up, and water was just gushing off the top of there, coming down here and just running across here. But this be just a relatively small surface. When you think of other surfaces that create large amounts of runoff that man created, why, yeah, Walmart parking lot, a Walmart roof, and even worse, think about a jet engine, a plane runway. I mean, that'd be a lot of runoff, right? So we got to do something about this.
So as you can see, there's a lot to know about water, how to improve its quality and the like. If you have a big grubbing hoe, a shovel, you can make swales. I'm not going to tell you any more about that because the good old boy down there in Australia, Jeff Lawton, has some awful good videos on how to make them, how to build them. Jeff Lawton, Geoff Lawton, Lawton. So yeah, if you see areas where water's running off on your land and just kind of ripping stuff up, digging out your driveway, creating mud, there's an opportunity to slow the water down. You get to keep the water. Your plants will thank you for it. And maybe that glass of water you bring up out of the well won't be quite as murky.
Hello. Yes, I'm trying to figure out to drink or not to drink. What do you call it when there's too much? A flood. Yes. When you think of floods, I think of like Noah's flood, entire earth covered in water, not even a little mountaintop, not even a tippy top, just everything flood. Be good art. I've been working on that too since Bernie. Bernie had this idea of caring for the water on his farm. Here's Noah. I used 2 pieces of paper, a nice warm piece of paper for the back, like yellow or orange or red, a little too warm maybe, or white to be okay. Then on the outside, you use blue, purple, gray. All those work pretty well. And then draw the ship on the cold color, and then in pencil first. Then I outline it with marker. Then I color it in with pastel. You could use color pencil as well, pastel a little bit faster. And then I drew these doors on here and cut them out with an X-Acto knife. And after you cut it out the doors, you have to draw the different animals inside, trace them with a marker, and color them in with colored pencils. Now you'll find that it's a little bit difficult to use the colored pencil over top of your colors, your colored background, but it still gives it that warm effect. And you wouldn't have to do a Noah's Ark. You could do a haunted house with like little old windows and doors and different things behind them. Or you could do a barn with animals in different barn styles. So lots of ways you can go with this. Very straightforward. Yeah. Well, I'm getting a little thirsty. I think just to be on the safe side, I drink a little bit of Art World water.